Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that every African can relate to, and that is typically black tax. What is black tax? Black tax is that tax you have to pay for being black. This we see this a lot in black families in Africa, even in America. Why? Because and this why is this a disadvantage? It's a disadvantage because that's why you see a lot of black families, instead of passing down generational wealth, they start passing down generational poverty. Because instead of you to have enough to take care of for your kids, no, rather you are taking care of your parents' needs, and then your kids have to take care of your own needs. And then so you see this is how generational poverty is passed. Now, talking about the African American culture, the Black American culture, black tax is also something that happens a lot in the black community because of, let's go back to history, right? A lot of black people were oppressed. They did not have the same opportunities with the white people, the folks. A lot of them were not able to open accounts. A lot of them were not able to go to school at the right time. There's just too many factors, obviously. And that is why when people say, oh, look at this white person, they are rich. What about the black people? I'm like, they didn't start at the same time. They did not. But that's not what we're going to be dwelling on now. We're going to be talking about how to actually end this black tax. Because I have spoken to a lot of people, especially people in the diaspora, and there's like this thing that happens to them when they come back to Africa. They're like, how is it that I have been spending and sending this amount of money to Africa and I come back and these people are using the latest iPhone? And me that is taking shift and shift and shift. I am not even using up to iPhone 16. I have heard conversations like that. I've heard people complain on TikTok that they feel drained because every time a call comes in, it's about a family member that has never checked up on you, a family member that doesn't even know if you're okay. And you think, okay, let me pick this call, is a family member, then they're coming with an issue. It's either they are something is wrong, there's an emergency, or they are expecting you to take care of childbirth. They're expecting you to take care of wedding. Yes, somebody is about to get married. Somebody is about to go to someone's house and take their child and come to yours and expect that you should be the one to sponsor the wedding. Where does it stop? From sponsoring of wedding to taking care of them to helping them when they need to have kids. Where does it actually stop? Now, that's why I want us to really have a conversation about black tax. And before I continue, I want to just ask in the comment section, please, if you're African or you're just maybe you're Black American, you're from the Caribbeans or what not, please type in the comment section, how have you been able to manage black tax? Now, funny story, my backstory about my life. I grew up with a father that took in so much. Oh my God, my father was a giver, but I felt like there was no pause. My father gave in so much that when it was time for him to now start, let me just say, like relaxing, he now didn't have enough. My father literally took care of the village. Every time my father's phone rang, he was paying people's school fees. And now his father did not leave anything for him. His mother did not leave anything. So my father started from the scratch. If you've heard this thing about the Igbo trade where you serve somebody and then the person, what do you call that thing again? The person does freedom for you. So basically what it means is, so for example, if you serve someone that sells refrigerator, you can serve the person for like 9 years, and after 9 years, if you've done well, the person will give you some goods on credit and then give you some money. So you've learned the rope, and then you now start selling what you learned from the person, and that's how it keeps going. So my father made money like that. My point is, it's not like my father came from a rich home. So the same opportunity he had to get here was the opportunity that a lot of them had. But I saw my dad have BP, develop BP. I saw my father take BP medications because maybe he didn't have enough money and he was getting calls like, they in my house, in my language means sir or something. They, please, oh, and my son, his school fees, they say they will chase him away tomorrow. This person, please, my daughter, she's still waiting. They've called her to this, but there's no money for her to go here. My husband, we've imagined this diabetes now is getting worse. Like, I heard my dad constantly answer those calls. And while I felt like, oh yes, giving is amazing because, we are all going to know that God loves a cheerful giver and all, but I just felt like he didn't have a pause. He didn't have where to stop because a lot of them that made money like that did not learn about finances. So they were not financially literate, right? They did not know that there would be a time when dollar would be to naira this. They did not think of things like pandemic. They thought, okay, at that time we're in primary school, we're in secondary school, school fees was cheap and all. They were not prepared for a time when these people will now be in university. Oh, I'll be old now. And being old means that I will need more, more supplements, more vitamins, things like that. And the craziest thing about this black tax is that you would think that if someone gives in their all, when it's time and they needed something, you would think that with all this person gave, he should be chilling. Like, you get what I mean? Like, if the world was actually a fair place, my father should be getting, like, because we had people that lived with us that are now in America, they're in the UK. Like, I'm telling you that my father will get calls of people saying, I'm trying to send my son to America. This is the amount of money I need. My father will not have enough at that time. He is thinking, his brain is thinking, what is it? Is this person? No, they say that the deadline for them to do the American application is tomorrow. You would think that with all this, like, in his old age, he'll be getting favors. But no, he's getting favors from the people that he did not do anything for. You know what I mean? So my point of this is that when I was growing up, I looked at all these things and I told myself, I will not inherit any black tax and I will not give my children black tax. I told myself that when Trevor Noah said that his mom said it, I said that was me. I told myself that. So when I work hard, when I do the things I do for myself, is because I do not want my children to inherit any black tax. I do not want to pass down generational poverty where, all they have to do is do for me and then there's nothing for their kids. No, I said no. So what are the things that I put in place actually to ensure that I didn't do that? So I'm going to be sharing my personal experience. One is I set boundaries. I'm not your first option. So I set that boundaries, right? I don't just, I need this. There's a difference between an emergency. Example, why am I giving you money to go and get married? If you need my money for wedding, then you're not ready for a wedding. Yeah. Why do you need my money to go and get married? Why are you getting married? Why do you have 2 kids and your 2 kids are barely eating and you have another child? Why am I the one responsible for taking care of your kids? If you live in Nigeria, you know what I mean. For some people, hiring people in Nigeria even became a big deal because it felt like you're hiring their family, because your housekeeper will come in the morning, she's frowning. What is it? She's telling you how, her 4 kids are home, no money, just basically the one she's making from here. Her husband is not working. And you're like, okay, was he rich before? And then maybe got broke. So maybe that's how people had the mind to have 4. Maybe he was rich, maybe he had a job and then he lost the job. No, nothing. You guys entered this with God's grace, like by God's grace. And this is actually also what causes them to, you come to Nigeria, you see people as little as 7, 10, 11. They are giving out their kids as helps because by the time they have all these kids, they cannot fend for their kids. So the only thing they have to do is to give it out, to give their kids out. They don't care the condition that their kids are, what's happening to their kids at that place. These children basically lose their childhood. So yes, that's the thing. I set boundaries. Another thing that I like to do is that I like to empower rather than give. I love everybody around my family or myself knows me that if you're coming to me, you're not coming to ask me for money, you're coming to ask me for a job. So instead of coming to me to say, can you be giving me this? Can you give me this? Rather say, please, can I handle this social media? This is what I'm good at. Like, come with something. You know what I mean? Like, empower people rather than give them handouts. And if you empower them and they don't do well with it, so you want a job so bad, you want money, and you're calling me. Why are you calling me that you have money? Like that you want money? Why can't you call me to say, please, can you help me get a job here? And I'll do my best and I get it. And I get a call the next day or week later or month later, say that that person you recommended is very unserious. I now call you, you say, that job, it was just too stressful. See, say, the job was stressful, I couldn't contest. Okay, thank you, it's your own. Then the next month, you're calling me to say you don't have money. I say, my dear, my job too is stressful. My job is stressful. Nothing is easy. I'm filming this video now. It's 11 midnight because I know I'll have a busy one tomorrow. So I'm filming that. I'm not going to have up to 8 hours sleep. And then you're going to sleep for 12 hours. I give you an opportunity. You don't use it well. And then you call me and say you need money. Hello. Another thing is to teach your kids not to be entitled. Yeah. Because a lot of this black tax comes from family members. I am so grateful that even though my dad was a giver, I am grateful for how my parents raised us. I have lived with my siblings before, and I'll tell you that we did not have any issues. Why? Because we're not entitled to each other's money. We all work, we all do our thing. The only thing we do is like my sister has a dispatch company, I always use her. The one like we use each other's service and we pay for it. My sister that sells clothes, when I was working, I buy all my work clothes from her. My brother handles everything, like when it comes to like managing, like project management. And that's because of how our parents raised us. They did not raise us with handouts, right? They raised us as not to be entitled to any other person's thing. So we don't come home and we say, I'm broke, and you bought food with this amount. We don't do that. That's how we were able to live together. I don't mean in my parents' house. I mean on our own. We rented a place. We lived together, and for one day, we did not have any issue of anything that has to do with money because we are not entitled to each other's money. We don't even take things without telling, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how you finish ironing your clothes and you hang it and you come out and your sister has worn it to work. We don't do that. If I buy something I put in the fridge, if it's my own, my sister cannot take it. Even if she wants to take it, she'll send me a text message. Please, can I take this thing and buy it back for you tomorrow? So teaching your kids not to be entitled will help them in the long run, because you cannot sit down there and because one person is making it, you're like, because our senior is making it, no need, let us relax. No. So I pass that to my kids as well. They're not even entitled to each other's books. You cannot come to my house and maybe this one wants to read the book and they'll go and say things like, I want to, please help me tell, mommy, please tell her to give me the book. No, ask her yourself. If she says no, is no. If she says yes, is yes. Like, I'm not going to come into that. That's her stuff, because it also starts with, when you're young. That's why a lot of first daughters became mothers at a very young age. A lot of first sons became fathers at a very young age, because you're playing with a toy. I never experienced that growing up. I'm the first child, right? I never experienced growing up where I'm playing with a toy. My sister wants a toy. My mom would say, you're older than her. No. My mom never did that. If they are giving us meat, everybody's eating meat. If they are giving us egg, everybody's eating egg. If they are giving us rice, there was no such thing as, now you're the senior one, allow them to have. No. So we all grew up having that. So this is also our opportunity now to make sure that whether you have kids, whether you have nephews, nieces, people around you, things like that, like you start teaching them. I even started teaching people that I employ. Yes, like when I employ people now, I'm like, if you want, you cannot be entitled to my money. I give my rules. I say, I don't do this, I don't do that, things like that. I tell them, like, if you want something, you ask me. You don't just come to my house, take something. Like, my house is not a supermarket. If you want something, that even my own kids, so by the time they come and they see that even my kids are doing the same, that if they want something, they ask me. And it can be no, and it can be yes. So you cannot be entitled to my money. Even my kids are not entitled to my money. Being entitled, things like, thank you, sorry. Because when you take something from someone, you don't say thank you. It means you're being entitled. There's something trending on Twitter now. Somebody's helping people pay rent. Somebody's helping you pay your rent, and you respond T for thanks. And people are arguing about it. People are arguing on Twitter. I cannot believe that's how ingratitude starts. That's how entitlement starts. Even when I was abroad, if my dad sends me money, I call him, thank you, sir. My mom sends money, thank you, ma. Like, I don't say it is your right. You're supposed to pay my school fees because you're the one that brought me here. You're supposed to know. Because like I said, that's when it starts, and that's when we start feeling entitled. You see person say, who will train these children now that you're about to give birth to? You've not heard. My senior sister is rich. You hear people say things like, how can this person be going around the world when their sister is not this free? They are entitled to other people's things. And that's how we start. Black tax. So taking away that spirit of entitlement was something that I'm happy my parents trained me with. And I always, 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 every opportunity I have to train my kids about it, I do. Another thing is like having kids. If you want to have kids, that's beautiful. But please, can we stop having kids for investment purpose? How do you tell someone that you don't want kids, and they're saying, so who will take care of you when you're young? And they say when you're old, and they say things like, oh, you're selfish, that's why you don't want to have kids. And I'm like, so why do you want to have kids? Oh, because they will take care of me when I'm old. I'm like, then who is the selfish one here? So you're having kids already because you want to take care of them, and, because you want them to grow, not become better people, not take care of themselves, but take care of you. That's why sometimes these kids grow and they find themselves in position where they're like the film I was watching yesterday, the mother was calling him. The mother needed his attention in the East. His wife just had a baby. He felt like, oh, where do I go? But meanwhile, you are responsible for your wife and kid. You know what I mean? So it's like, stop seeing kids as an investment opportunity. Stop seeing kids as an investment opportunity. That's one thing that I can really say. If you see it like that, you will work hard for yourself. You're not working hard because you feel like, don't worry, by the time my child grows and she gets married or he gets married, I'll go and live in their house. So they'll tell you, do you want to invest here? You say, no, there's no need of investing. When my kid gets married, I'll go and live there. Yeah. And I'll say this one is, for me, is the most important one, is that while you're giving, not at the expense of your own self. You cannot pour from an empty glass. I think hearing that and learning it is one of the best things that have happened to me. If you do not have your glass filled up, how are you able to pour into someone else's glass? So it is okay. I remember the first time I went to America. For some reason, you know how it is. They will just say that, you're no more in Nigeria, you're in America. I was a student. People didn't care. I will be, I was in LA, right? The time difference. They don't even care about the time difference. You'll be sleeping in the night. You just say, I heard you. I will block. At the time, I told my parents, please, before you give anybody my number, you text me. Like, please, I saw this person. Is this who? Because people will call you. They don't know how you're there. Please, how do I do my papers? How do I move here? Please send me money. Like, I went to school in London. It wasn't up to a week. Someone called me that I should send out money. I'm like, I am a student. In Nigeria, you're doing better than me. I'm a student. I'm here all by myself. I have to buy my own food. I have to pay my rent. I have to do all that. In Nigeria, you're still like, you're in your parents' house. You are eating your parents' food. You can easily go to your friend's house and knock and say, I'm hungry. Here, we are all by ourselves. Like, it's not even up to a week. Just because you hear it's London, you're asking me. She was like, no, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Even if it's £100. I'm like, do you know how many hours someone has to work in this UK in order to make £100? You see, so the entitlement. And before you knew that, I heard that as a story, one other person had already told me that this person called you and said that you're in the UK. I say, plus you, plus the person, I'm blocking you people. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, for your own peace, you do not need, if you're abroad, you do not need to hear all the information in Africa. You do not need to take in all the information. It's that boundaries, though, that I'm talking about. You cannot take from an empty cup. And no is like, if you want to give, that's fine. But also, if you want to say no, maybe you have mortgage to pay and somebody is calling you and you're not able to, you're not able to. No is a full sentence. Because to be honest, if all of us start seeing life like this, we will prepare for the future. We will pay for insurance, we'll do things that prepares us for the future. But because people know that, there's black tax, you see people settled, chilled. Go to some parts in Nigeria, you see someone wake up in the morning. Someone actually described someone for me. Wake up in the morning, he will go around. I said, do you know how much this person makes a month? I said, no. He said, he called me a man. I said, how does she make it? She said, she'll call her friend here. I said, send me this. She'll call her friend here. Before you know it, they'll send her money. It's because they know that we'll send. Oyibo will not do it because at 18, they're already saying, go and find your way. So yes, I like the black culture. I like that we don't send our kids out early, like, okay, go and fend for yourself. But at the same time, we need to start teaching our kids financial literacy. We need to learn it ourselves. We need to educate ourselves. And that is the only way we are going to build generational wealth. That is the only way we are going to pass generational wealth and not generational poverty. So like I said, please, in the comment section, let me know if you're struggling with black tax. Have you handled it? How were you able to handle it? Or has this video just given you an idea of how you can handle it? Please let us discuss in the comment section, because as you all know, conversations like this are something that, like, it never ends. It's something that will keep helping us. You don't know that your comments might just help someone who has been drowning in black tax. Thank you. My name still remains Sarah Donald. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Bye.